Hi friends, I'm Laura. This is Baker Homestead. I just want to give you a little update of how things are going in the garden today and do a little garden tour. So first I'll start with my grow shed. I have some microgreens up here that are ready to be harvested, some basil, some pea shoots, and like a salad mix. It looks like some mustard greens, something spicy, just to add a little flavor to sandwiches and extra flavors to salads. And then I have my sea of peppers left. So I am growing a lot of peppers. I will probably in a week or two have these outside, maybe even a little bit longer. We're just past our frost date, our last frost date, so I don't want to rush them out there. It's still a little cold, but we are getting into the warmer weather. I also have a ridiculous amount of basil this year. Every other year I have started with direct sowing my basil, and I just never feel like our weather is good enough here in Washington to give me a good basil harvest. So this year I started it, and I probably started it too early with too many types or too many seeds. It's just I always oversowed my basil before because it didn't grow very much, so I only got a little bit off of each plant. But this year I'm hoping to be able to tuck in these basil plants between pretty much everything and get a good harvest. So I have, I think, 6 types, and there will be about 6 of these little planters that have a few seeds in each. Okay, so now I'm going to take you out to all the trees that I've planted and I'll show you how they're doing. So I've only been at this house for a couple years, so a lot of the trees are pretty young. I am trying to add more every year, and hopefully that will mean that we'll end up with a large harvest of a bunch of different types of fruit that ripen at different times. I have 2 nectarine trees, 3 apple trees, 2 apricots, 2 plums, a Asian pear, an European pear, persimmon, 2 pecans, and 3 peach trees so far. So I'll just show you how they're doing. Most of them are pretty little. A lot of them have already bloomed, but they are starting to get leaves. So here we have a plum tree. It's just finishing blooming. I have to wrap all the trees in some kind of mesh or wire because the deer will eat pretty much everything. I'm excited for this tree. It should do pretty well. It should start fruiting pretty soon. It's getting to a decent size. This is a Cosmic Crisp apple. I don't know that it ships outside of Washington, but a lot of times you can find them in grocery stores outside of Washington to eat. But they're very good. I like them more than a Honeycrisp. And then these pecan trees, they grow very slow, but it looks like it's still alive. It's just not doing very much. I've had it for, this is my 3rd year. No, it doesn't look like it because it's so tiny, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to grow pecans. I don't know. It says that they are hardy to my climate, but you know, you never know until you try. And I really like pecans, so I'd love to see them. Here's a peach tree. It's just recently been planted, so I have not protected it yet. The deer don't really start bothering it until the leaves get a little bit bigger, but I definitely need to get protection around it soon. It looks like it's starting to bloom, or it will be blooming very soon. It's looking good. Might need a little bit of pruning. It was a pretty bad winter. As soon as they sent these plants, we had freezing rain and snow, but it's still the best time to plant them in the winter or late winter, early spring. Develop their roots well before the dry summer comes, and then you don't really need to water them, or you won't have to water them as much. So here I have my Japanese pear tree. It is blooming. It looks beautiful. It's one of those mixed pear trees, so I think there's 4 or 5 different types on here. I haven't gotten fruit from it yet, with all these flowers and it being after the last frost, it hopefully means that I will get some pears this year. And then I have, oh, I forgot this one. I have a almond tree. It is just finishing up its blooming. It looks very similar to a peach tree. It's beautiful. It says that it does not need to cross-pollinate, but I don't know. It's the first time growing one, so we'll see how it does. I'll take you in the back side of my garden and walk you through what's growing. Okay, so here we have my potato patch. It's kind of the Ruth Stout method. We just cover it with hay or straw or whatever we have. And it's funny because we thought we harvested all of them last year, but there's so many that popped up before we planted that we knew it was time to start planting our potatoes. So some of these are from last year and some of them are this year's planting. My rhubarb over here looks enormous. It actually has been kind of going a little too crazy with blooming, so I had to remove a lot of the stalks to get rid of the bloom so we can get more edible parts. And then here is my raspberry. I thought growing it inside of a raised bed would help keep it contained, but there definitely is some that is sneaking out over here, so I'll have to be vigilant on my upkeep of that so it doesn't spread all over the place. I have lots of blueberries. They're just starting to put on blossoms. Hopefully it'll mean a good harvest. These are my broad beans or fava beans. They have not started blooming yet, but I expect they will anytime now. I also have some peas and radishes started. I just stick the seeds in and let them do their work. They're pretty frost tolerant. The worst thing here is slugs. Slugs love to eat everything, and when they do, I just replant. I mean, seeds are cheap. It's not that much work to put a couple seeds in the ground for what the slugs ate. I do try some methods of controlling them, but you know, some of it works, and really the best way is to just keep planting. This bed, my greens, it looked really good when I first planted it, but I realized I did not harden them off as well as I should have, but they'll survive. They just have a little bit of burn to them. As you can see, there's a lot of pale, patchy areas, but they'll come through. I'll have lots of salads and lots of good things to cook up here. Celery, lettuce, bok choy, spinach. These ones were planted by seed directly, and they'll fill in. There's more seeds. I put some more lettuce seeds in there because I pretty much do the cut and come again. I don't really go for heads of lettuce. It's just easier that way. And then I have buckets. I've got plenty of these buckets that I grow my broccoli in. I just find it easier. The plants get pretty big. They take up a lot of space in a raised bed, and honestly, broccoli grows so well here, but we really like to eat broccoli. We could probably eat it several nights a week if I could grow enough, but with how much space it takes, I think I have 8 plants growing right now, which is more than I've done other years. It still won't be as much as we could eat, but it's closer to what I would really like for us. I have this Mizuna that went to flower. The bees are loving it. They're not out right now, but they have been plenty of times. And this mustard that's also going to seed. And we have a kohlrabi. You can see that it's starting to bulb out just right there. Just one of them because My husband doesn't really like it, and I don't like to have meals where, you know, only one person eats something. So that's pretty much my garden so far. It's early in the season. Strawberries, this is where the strawberry pots were over the years, and I have kind of let them go wild. I'm not sure, maybe eventually I'll do something about that, but for now I'm okay with the wildness in my garden. It just makes me happy. Life likes to do what it wants to do. And thank you for watching. Let me know how your gardens are doing and how you're doing with all your planting and seed starting. Have a great day. Bye.